spending time with the kids at one, listening to the mother, just contributing to the household, paying, doing your share in the house, that sort of thing.
Teach him the good things in life and stuff like that, and just try to set him off to a good start.
Being able to spend time with them, enjoying them, watching them grow up really. Quite a lot really. Initially, work-wise, I weren't able to spend as much time as I liked. When Daniel was first born, because work restraints. My girlfriend got 6 months off. Initially full paid, but I only got a week full paid, and then a week half pay, which was, it's not very good, so I had to put some holidays in. So I think that's been the main issue for me, just from a work perspective.
No, you kind of get relayed from the mum, I think, or you're there, but you're kind of in the background. You find yourself listening a lot, but no, it's really directed at yourself. That's what I found, but I coped with it all right, but that's the way I saw it.
No, not at all. You see, the problem is a woman is one who gives birth. A man could never do that, and historically it's always been looked at that children are also a closer alignment to mothers, and mothers always receive the benefits, even if things which to divorce situation, work situation, the mothers always benefited, I would say a 70 to 30% ratio. Historically it's always been, and that's not right, obviously.
Not at all. Grappling in the dark is how I felt. Still to this day, actually. It's still just very much trial and error. You just get on with it. There's no books. There's plenty of people willing to give you advice, but you soon find out that every kid is different.
No, to be honest, I don't think there was. I think that everybody, the father's almost expected to be okay, and all the carers, and almost rightly so, is towards the mum who is putting potentially her life at risk. Okay. But certainly, when Imogen was born, I nearly fainted, and I felt it was a pretty scary proposition. We did go to the prenatal classes, and there were some times there where we did work with other dads, and that worked quite well. Okay, but that was through our choice. It wasn't something that we did with the NCT, the National Childbirth Trust. But if we hadn't done that, I don't think I would have got that support. We had to seek it out, really.
No, there wasn't as much information and support. In fact, at the hospital, I felt very alienated by the whole experience. And in fact, just before my child was born, I went outside to actually have a cigarette, and they wouldn't let me back in again. And I was just totally disgusted by it, really.
Well, hopefully I'm going to be a new father in a week's time, and I'm only entitled to 2 weeks, and it's like, well, how can somebody measure what's enough time to bond with your child? Before it was just 1 week, and now they've upped it to 2 weeks.
I think that they have difficulty being flexible, period, but I think they find whenever I want to be flexibility because of my daughter, it's as if I'm applying more pressure. So they don't really know what to do with it, really.
I suppose I'm very lucky because my organisation is flexible and does understand, and if I wanted to, like last year, Lydia wanted to work and we couldn't arrange childcare, so Lydia was working like half a day a week, which meant I took my holidays for that half a day, and I know a lot of other employers wouldn't like that, but they didn't seem to mind me working 4.5 days a week, even though it's my entitlement, my holiday. But I know some employers are quite fussy and prefer the employees to take a one week block or 2 week block. I suppose I'm quite lucky. I know that other people aren't so lucky.
Last year I became self-employed for the very reason that there was no flexibility, that I wanted to spend more time with my children, that I wanted to come home at a time when they were up. So a large driver for actually going self-employed was because of that lack of flexibility.
It can be quite difficult. I think it's more because me and my partner both work. If there is a problem, they always presume it's going to be the mother that takes the time off and the father's just expected, so it can be quite awkward. But to be fair, they have been alright sometimes, but it is more difficult for me.
I'm fortunate that I work for Wakefield District Council and we have a Work Smart initiative there which allows you to do things with your children and with your family, so it helps with the work-life balance. So I'm fortunate in that respect, but I know that people within private sector, it's more difficult.
Sometimes I think fathers do get a bit of a raw deal, and as I said, I mean, not just this country, there's other countries as well, but I've lived in this country like most of my life, so I think that's like, we're getting a bit of a raw deal.
Well, I feel very strongly that the father in the UK and in the world is really pretty much just there to supply the dollar. That a lot of the attitudes that you come across really are those attitudes that say, well, you just do this. At the school where my child goes, it's very rare for even the parents to drop the children off, let alone do the reading class and stuff like that. So I think probably there's a bit on both sides. Adults, parents, fathers, sometimes they don't do it, but also the system doesn't even expect fathers. There's no expectation on fathers to be doing anything.
I think for myself it's trying to establish a career and look after children at the same time is quite difficult. Come into both fairly late, found the career that I want to do and had Alice when I was 40, so you know, not as young as I was, and you know, I find it both quite hard and quite challenging. There's not much space for anything else really, work and children, which I find quite frustrating at times.
Some employers, you know, when you do need that bit of extra time, especially when you're a first parent, you know, your first baby, it's a daunting prospect, you know, and it would be nice for dads as well as mums to have a bit more time to sort of get used to it. You wouldn't be so stressed, because I worked all the way through, you know, what we're getting up in the night, breastfeeding and stuff like that. I mean, not that I did any of that, it's just that you know, it is a serious, it's hard work, and it could be made easier.
Nice, responsible, if that's a word, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that and I don't know, just there for you when you need him, basically.
Learning how to ride a bike and learning how to do a yo-yo.
Yo-yo.
Going out?
It's always there for me. Yeah, that protects you.
Time to give about
Yeah.
about things.
He does, like, if he's like on holiday or something, he'll make it up to me. Like, I'll see him like extra days and stuff, which is good. He's always there.
So I always feel like I'm his first priority.
Because for your mums, it's more like girly stuff. Then when your dads, you can't really relate to stuff with them.
So do you find that you tend to do stuff with your dad and talk about stuff with your mum?
Yeah. My dad's like the more practical one.
No, not at all. I think the information comes from antenatal classes, which are women only. You can go to parent craft classes, of which there are only 3, which men are invited to, but are predominantly stereotypically run by midwives and aimed at mums, and the thing they do to dads is embarrass them, which then puts men off from coming. So no, I think really there needs to be lots more that treat men as, first of all, intelligent beings rather than, you know, scaring them and putting them off. It's too stereotypical.